I'm setting the stage because, correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, but you are about to make a case that the Quran actually doesn't deny the crucifixion.
That's right, baby.
Right. Now, what I was going to say is, before that, we should probably address the standard Muslim view, which is that Jesus wasn't killed and wasn't crucified. So you can address that, or I can address that. But after that, then an actual response. The Quran doesn't apparently deny it.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know how much time you guys have, so it's up to you.
I'm saying someone, you or I should address the standard Muslim response, and then go on to the problem with the Quran.
Sam, the floor is yours, bro. Since you joined us late, I'd love to hear what you have to say, my bro. Go ahead, Sam.
Before I go on, Vocab, do you have a Quran on you? Do you have a Quran? Open it up. We need a Quran. If we're going to do a show,
give me a minute.
Islam, you're getting a Quran. Yeah.
Give me a minute.
All right, let's go to chapter 4, Surah Al-Nisa.
Hey, what kind of apologist doesn't immediately have a Quran on hand? I've got like 8 Qurans within like 2 feet.
Especially a series on un-Islamicize me.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, hey, let me walk down 1,000 flights of stairs to go find a Quran in my series, Un-Islamicize Me.
Yeah, whoever wants to read the passage, I don't care. It doesn't have to be vocab. Whoever wants to read it, so that the people understand what you're referring to.
Vocab's back with his Quran, so that'll save me.
Surah 4 what?
Chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa, 157. Read it so they can at least get a context to see what we're discussing.
All right. All right. And I know it's not the best, but none of them are. It's Yusuf Ali. They said in boast, we killed Christ Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah, but they killed him not, nor crucified him. But so it was made to appear to them, and those who differ therein are full of doubts, with no certain knowledge, but only conjecture to follow, for of a surety they killed him not.
Now, Dave, why don't you give the typical traditional interpretation of this passage, and if you want to talk about why it's problematic, then we can take it from there.
Yeah. So this passage is usually interpreted, chapter 4, verse 157 is usually interpreted as claiming that Jesus wasn't killed and wasn't crucified. And if you look at the traditional Muslim commentators, the vast majority of Muslim commentators agree that this is denying the crucifixion, and you have some not terribly strong traditions that supposedly go back to Muhammad and his companions about what this passage means. The problem, of course, is that they contradict each other on what this is referring to and what happened the night Jesus was crucified. But the overwhelming majority of Muslims over the centuries and the overwhelming majority of Muslims today are convinced that of some version of what's called substitution theory, that Jesus wasn't crucified, but someone was crucified in his place. So what happened was God miraculously disguised someone to make him look like Jesus. And then this other person was crucified, but everyone thought that it was Jesus because God had disguised him to make him look like Jesus. And so this other person was crucified. Meanwhile, Jesus was taken safely to heaven, as verse 158 says. So this is the Muslim view. And Muslims actually look at this as a more just view, because the innocent Jesus didn't die. Someone else, or even someone who is guilty, for those Muslims who believe that it was Judas who was crucified in his place, they believe that this is more just, and it shows better and more clearly the power of Allah. Now, there are lots of problems with this. I mean, just going with the obvious, if you were there and you saw Jesus being crucified and you found out later, oh, it's some sort of illusion or God tricked you, you wouldn't know what to believe, right? You wouldn't know what to believe about the world, right? I mean, you think you're watching David Wood right now in this live stream? No. What if God's just tricking you into thinking you're watching David Wood on the live stream? You'd have to deny the reliability of your senses for basic recognition and observation. So that would be a problem. But really the main problem is that it turns God into a deceiver who deceives even people who are following his prophets, and deceives billions of people for no good reason whatsoever, right? It would be one thing if you said God tricked people for some good reason or something like this, or to punish them for their wickedness or something like that. Here, even Jesus' followers came to believe that he had died on the cross and rose from the dead. So if this was just a deception, then it worked on even Jesus' followers. So notice, why do Jesus' followers, who according to the Quran were good, devout Muslims, why do Jesus' followers and why have literally billions, not only of Christians, but of non-Christians over the centuries, because everyone except Muslims agrees that Jesus died by crucifixion. Why did everyone believe this? Well, if the Muslim view is true, the reason everyone believes that Jesus died by crucifixion is that Allah did such a great job tricking everyone that everyone is now convinced, and so on. And notice, one of our objections to the Quran would then be from Allah, right? Because one of our objections to the Quran was that it denies obviously historical events like the crucifixion of Jesus, when, if Muslims are correct, God did that. That was God tricking people. And so we're rejecting the Quran because it's denying Allah. I mean, because it's saying that something that's obviously historical is actually Allah's deception. So this is very, very strange theology here. And for modern Muslims, many of whom are convinced that the one who was crucified in Jesus' place was actually Judas, that's actually perfect. That's actually perfect if you want to understand Islam, because notice the complete gospel reversal there, right? According to Christianity, the innocent Jesus dies on behalf of guilty sinners. According to the modern, most popular Muslim view today, the guilty sinner Judas died on behalf of the innocent Jesus. It's a complete reversal of the gospel. And so when you hear something like that, it should be, wow, we've been expecting claims like this, because we know what the gospel is. And we know that false prophets and false teachers are going to come and try to undermine that gospel message. And so to do it as perfectly as Islam does, we have to be awfully suspicious of things like that. So that's the most popular, most common view, is substitution. Someone else was crucified in Jesus' place. And we see, by the way, how this impacted even Muhammad's followers, right? Muhammad's followers. Abu Bakr said if he had one foot in paradise, he would still fear Allah's deception, Allah's makr. And this is actually related to several claims and teachings from the Muslim sources, that there are a variety of ways that Allah might be deceiving even the closest companion of the seal of the prophets. And this is Abu Bakr, one of the only people who was guaranteed paradise by Muhammad himself. And Abu Bakr was saying he still fears that Allah is just tricking him. Now think about this, everyone, because this is all connected. If Muhammad himself says, yo, Abu Bakr, I guarantee that you're in paradise, and Abu Bakr says later, I'm still worried that Allah is just tricking me, and that even if I had one foot in paradise, he might be ready to send me to hell. What does that mean? That means that he's worried Allah might even be deceiving him through his own prophet. Now, how could the closest companion of Muhammad's father-in-law, be thinking that God might be deceiving him even through his prophet? Well, guess what? If you read the Muslim sources and you see what happened at the cross of Jesus, according to the most popular Muslim view, you start understanding that this is a God who might just be tricking people. Because think about it. If you say, why did Allah trick everyone at the time, even Jesus' own followers, into believing that he died when he didn't? And in the process, start the largest false religion in the world. Remember, Christianity, according to Islam, the largest false religion in the world, can't get off the ground without the crucifixion of Jesus. So that was foundational to the origin of Christianity. But where did that false belief come from? When did the gospel really get corrupted according to Islam? It wasn't from the Apostle Paul or the Council of Nicaea. It was from Allah. Allah corrupted the message. Allah corrupted the message of his prophet. Allah deceived people. Allah started a false religion. If you say why, all you can say is maybe he just didn't like the Jews or something, right? Because there's no reason that you can say, here's why he did it. So maybe it's just to deceive people. And if it's just to deceive people, then how can someone like Abu Bakr say, well, I know that Allah is not deceiving me. Well, maybe he is deceiving you. Maybe he wanted to send you a delusion because you've rejected the gospel or something like that. And so once you have an omnipotent deceiver as the foundation of your theology, yeah, you would be pretty scared of what's going on. So that's the standard Muslim view, but there's a problem with even the standard Muslim view in the Quran. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. Real quick, hold on, guys.
Yeah,
shout out to Nate. Let me give a super shout out real quick, Sam. Shout out to Nate too, also in the super chat. I didn't want to miss you. Got to head out. We'll watch later. Thanks for all this. At 35 years growing up in the faith, this is still very helpful. I'm glad to hear that, Nate. And good job, everyone, doing the moderation. I see you guys. All right, Sam, I'm handing it back over to you. I just wanted to give a shout out to the supporters.
Yeah, how much? See, I don't even know how much time we have. How much time we have for this?
We'll tell you to be quiet when you're talking. When we're sick of you.
We're gonna go about 20 more minutes total. So we do want to leave time for questions of Q&A.
No, I'm sorry.
Q&A at the end.
No. It's gonna take me 30 minutes. You sit there and be a good boy and listen. Okay.
Really? Well, if you do it as Halal Hogan, I might listen.
All right. Now, yeah, that's the typical Islamic interpretation. But unfortunately, if you're going to use the Quran to interpret the Quran, which many Muslims tell us we should first do, the Quran interprets the Quran, and then you look to the son of Muhammad as well as the scholars. Well, if you actually pay attention to the language of the text itself, we're just going to limit ourselves to the Quran, and I'm going to challenge any Muslim. There are Muslims listening. They're going to listen in the future, and I challenge their scholars to refute me contextually, exegetically, and can refute me linguistically, appealing to the language of the Quran itself to show where I'm wrong. I know they can go to outside sources, like David said. They can go to Ibn Kathir, Tabari. Interestingly, side note, there's not one narration in the standard hadith works that's attributed to Muhammad where they have Muhammad explaining this passage. Is that ironic? You would think that there would be a tradition attributed to Muhammad where he explains the meaning of chapter 4, verse 157. It's not found in what we call Sitta. It's not found. You won't find it Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi. It's not there. It's the Muslims forgot to make up a saying of Muhammad explaining what this passage means. So that's another challenge. Muslims, show me where Muhammad explain 4:157. Now let's go back to the text itself. Read it for me again, Vocab, one more time. Read 4:157.
Hey, this time, can I read it out of the study Quran? All right, here we go. And for their saying, we slew the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, the messenger of God, though they did not slay him, nor did they crucify him, but it appeared so unto them. Those who differ concerning him are in doubt thereof. They have no knowledge of it, but follow only conjecture. They slew him not for...
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay, go back, because I said pause right there, but I guess the pause button didn't work. Go back and read that part one more time, and I'll tell you where to pause, because I want the audience to pick up on this. Read it one more time.
And for their saying, we slew the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, the messenger of God, though they did not slay him, nor did they crucify him, but it appeared so unto them.
Now pause right there. It's saying, pause right there, friend. It's saying that they, can you guys hear me? Because it seems like...
Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. It says, for their saying, it's referring to a specific group, and then it denies their assertion. They killed him not, nor did they crucify him, but it so appeared unto them. Now, number one, you have to identify who the group is. Who is the Quran referring to? Who are these individuals telling Muhammad, we killed the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary? You don't need to just go a few verses earlier. It's the Jews at the time of Muhammad. Interesting side. Here the Quran says that the Jews at Muhammad's time were taking responsibility for killing the Messiah. The Jews are boasting that they're killing the Messiah. I say that because if you say Jews at the time of Jesus instigated the death of Christ, you'll be accused of being anti-Semitic. The New Testament, the Quran, and Talmud, all three sources have Jews.
Sam, you're breaking up, bro. I don't know if you can be in a better place. I wasn't able to hear you for the past minute. You turned into Megatron or something real quick. Say what?
Sorry. Getting out of the woods. Sorry, man. How's it sound now?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting out of the woods. I'm sorry. I'm going to pull over. Sorry, this is what I got to do. I got 2 kids Kill two birds with one stone. Now, number one, side note. Notice it says they. In the context, that they are referring to the Jews at Muhammad's time. That part you came in? Did that come out clear?
Yes. Keep it on,
when
bro.
I said it? Okay. What? I can't hear you.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so now, an interesting side note. Both the Quran and the Talmud and the New Testament have the Jews claiming or taking responsibility for the death of Jesus. I say that because today, if you say that the Jews killed Jesus or the Jews instigated the death of Christ, you'll be accused of being an anti-Semite. When in reality, Paul himself was a Jew. Paul is a Jew. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 15, he says that the Jews killed the Lord Jesus as they did the other prophets. Oh, what the heck was that?
Go ahead. Just different things going on.
So the Quran also has the Jews taking responsibility for that, as does the Talmud, a Jewish source. Now, that's a side note. So now identify the people saying that we killed the Messiah. It's the Jews. The question that every Muslim must ask is, why are the Jews telling Muhammad we killed the Messiah? And that's, again, I can bring this up, but we'll be here all night. Interestingly, no Jew would boast that they killed the Messiah. If they thought Jesus was the Messiah, they wouldn't kill him. They would believe in him. But let's put that aside, because that's not the point right now. Because notice they're boasting, we killed the Messiah. Which Jew in his right mind would say we killed the Messiah? No, they thought Jesus was a false Messiah. But put that aside. The question is, why are the Jews telling Muhammad we killed Jesus? What's the point? And then earlier, slandering Mary and accusing her of being chaste. In other words, of getting pregnant, not by the power of the Spirit, but because she was sexually immoral. Now, what are the Jews trying to accomplish by raising these objections against Jesus to Muhammad? Can someone tell me? What's the point? Why are they saying this? Anybody there? Vocab? I know David knows. He knows everything. Why would the Jews go around, hey, man, we killed Jesus. We got rid of him, and his mother was immoral. Why are they doing that? Come on, John. Vocab. We only got 20 minutes.
Are you saying, well, because I don't think they, like you said, they didn't say we killed the Messiah. I mean, but if Jews hypothetically said that, it would be to show he's not the Messiah.
Exactly. Aha. That's the point. That's the point. They're trying to say, Muhammad, you want us to believe you're a prophet? You're telling us believe in Jesus, the Messiah? We know he's a fake. And here's the proof. We killed him. We got rid of him. So the response is, they killed him not, nor crucified him, but it appeared unto them. So what does it mean? It appeared unto them that they killed Jesus. Well, if you read it in the context, it means that by instigating the death of Jesus, that convinced them that Jesus was an imposter. So it appeared unto them that his death was proof he's a false Messiah. Everyone with me there so far? Just want to make sure you got it, Vocab, John, because David already knows the argument, but I want to make sure you two brothers getting it. You understand what it's trying to say? Jews did not kill him nor crucify him for the reason that you think you did. You think that by having him killed, you expose him as a fraud. And that's how it appeared to you when he died. But I'm telling you, no, that's not the reason. Now, that the language of the Quran does not deny that Jesus was killed, go to chapter 8, verse 17, real quickly, as a cross-reference. And I'll sum up real quickly. Go to chapter 8, verse 17. Same language used in a different context, which no Muslim would deny. It's plain reading. Chapter 8, verse 17 of the Quran, if you don't mind reading for me.
All right, I got it. And somebody was asking about the study Quran. Yeah, it kind of costs a little bit, but I like it because it has all these extra study notes, and it's a little more honest than Yusuf Ali. I'm not saying it's perfect, and you get a lot more information, even if you don't agree with it. So that's why I like reading from the study Quran. All right, starting in verse 17 of Surah 8. You did not slay them, but God slew them. And thou threwest not when thou threwest, but God threw, that he might try the believers with a beautiful trial from him. Truly, God is hearing, knowing.
Okay, the first part again. It's talking to the Muslims at the Battle of Badr. It says, you Muslims did not, and by the way, the word slew is the same thing as kill. You did not kill them, but Allah killed them. And then speaking to Muhammad says, you did not throw when you threw. What in the world does this mean? You did not kill them, but they did. At the Battle of Badr, 313 Muslims fought about 1,000 pagans, and the Muslims killed the pagans. And Muhammad actually did throw, the tradition says he threw sand, whatever it is. The whole point is they did kill them. And Muhammad did actually throw. So why is the Quran saying you didn't do it? Because if you read it, it says, you did not kill them, Allah did. You did not throw when you threw. Read it one more time so they can catch the language.
All right. You did not slay them, but God slew them, and thou threwest not when thou threwest, but God threw, that he might try the believers with a beautiful trial from him. Truly God is hearing, knowing.
Okay, but the problem is, Vocab, Muhammad did actually physically throw. And the Muslims did actually physically kill them. So obviously, it's not denying that the Muslims killed the unbelievers. It's saying something else. You would not be able to kill anyone if Allah did not decree it and empower you to do so. This is the same language in 4:157. You did not kill them. And the Jews, they killed him not, nor crucified him, but it so appeared unto them. In other words, if I take the language of the Quran, then I can make a powerful case linguistically and contextually. The passage is not saying that the Jews did not get Jesus killed. They did not get him killed for the reason they thought, and they wouldn't be able to kill him if it wasn't God's will. So yeah, he did die. He was killed, which is why it appeared to them that by killing him, that was proof he's a false Messiah, but that's not why he died. God allowed him to die a martyr's death, and to prove that's why he died, not for the reason the Jews think he died as an imposter. 4:158 says God raised him in vindication. So contextually, I can make a strong case, and I've yet to hear a Muslim refute me, just on the context and the language of the Quran. I've yet to hear a Muslim, and I'm inviting Muslims to refute me, and let's even debate on it. I'll do a whole moderated debate on this. Contextually, all it's saying is, you Jews are wrong for thinking that by having Jesus killed, you're exposing him as a false Messiah. That's how it appeared to you when he was killed, but that's not why he was killed. God allowed him to die a martyr's death, and to prove he's no fake, God raised him to vindicate him. That's the contextual meaning. Now, I challenge a Muslim to refute me contextually, linguistically. Any comers?
Not that I see right there. People are talking about Isaiah 53, actually, it looks like in the chat.
Yeah.
But
if David wants to add something, let him chime in. David wants to say something about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually multiple problems. One is the Quran claims to be clear, right? Doesn't the Quran claim to be clear over and over again? And here you have the text can't even clearly say what happened to Jesus. And the Islamic view is the mainstream Islamic view is that God tricked everyone. But if that's not what it's saying, then it's Muslims who have been tricked by thoroughly confusing and ambiguous language in the Quran. And so, and notice what Sam is pointing out is, if you only read the Quran without going to outside sources and commentaries, at best you would have to say it's ambiguous, but I think it would tend to favor the claim that Jesus did die and was raised. So you have to go outside the Quran. But Sam, doesn't the Quran claim to be completely clear and fully explained in itself?
Yeah, in fact, here, Vocab, go to 41 verse 3 of the Quran. Go to chapter 41 verse 3. Read that out loud. The Quran repeatedly says that it is a book that is in plain Arabic that provides a full exposition of not most, but all of its passages so people can understand. And just look at 41 verse 3 and read out loud for us.
Surah 41, ayat 3. A book whose signs have been expounded as an Arabic Quran for a people who know.
Okay, one more time, because someone said Allah Akbar over you. I didn't hear it.
No, I was doing it like a Hebrew Israelite. They're supposed to say, "That's right." All right. Here's what it really says: a revelation from the compassionate, the merciful, a book whose signs have been expounded as an Arabic Quran for a people who know, as a bringer of glad tidings and as a warner.
You know, actually, the Yusuf Ali captures the Arabic much better than the study Quran.
Let me get it. Because I know how that is. I got you, man. That's why I have a couple translations beside me.
Vocab.